On the fateful day of April 22, 2025, the serene valley of Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir was shattered by a horrific act of terrorism. Militants, driven by their ideology of hate, struck a convoy of tourists, leaving behind a trail of death and destruction. 26 innocent lives were brutally cut short. Their dreams and aspirations turned to ashes in the blink of an eye. The attack sent shockwaves throughout India, evoking memories of past atrocities and igniting a firestorm of anger and grief. The picturesque landscape of Pahalgam, once a symbol of peace and tranquility, was now scarred by the bloodshed of innocent civilians. The attack served as a stark reminder of the ever-present threat of terrorism that loomed over the region. The perpetrators, believed to be affiliated with a Pakistan-based terrorist organization, had once again struck at the heart of India, aiming to destabilize the nation and instill fear among its citizens. The Indian government condemned the attack in the strongest possible terms, vowing to bring the perpetrators to justice and hold those responsible accountable for their actions. The nation mourned the loss of innocent lives, with flags flying at half-mast and candlelight vigils held in cities and towns across the country. The attack served as a grim reminder that the fight against terrorism was far from over and that India would not hesitate to take decisive action to protect its sovereignty and its people. The Pahalgam attack marked a turning point in India-Pakistan relations, pushing the two nuclear-armed neighbors closer to the brink of war. The incident served as a stark reminder of the deep-rooted mistrust and animosity that plagued the relationship between the two countries. With tensions running high and public outrage mounting, the stage was set for a confrontation that had the potential to escalate into a full-blown conflict with devastating consequences for the entire region. In the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack, India vowed a swift and decisive response. Operation Sindoor 2025, named after the vibrant red color that symbolizes sacrifice and courage, was launched with the objective of dismantling the terror infrastructure operating from across the border. The Indian government, determined to send a strong message of deterrence, authorized the Indian armed forces to carry out precision strikes against terror camps and launch pads in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. On May 7, 2025, under the cover of darkness, Indian Air Force jets crossed the line of control and struck 9 terror camps in POK with pinpoint accuracy. The operation, meticulously planned and executed, caught the Pakistani establishment off guard. The strikes, carried out using a combination of laser-guided bombs and precision-guided missiles, inflicted heavy damage on the targeted facilities, destroying training camps, ammunition dumps and communication centers used by terrorist organizations. The IAF strikes sent shockwaves through Pakistan, exposing the country's vulnerability and its continued support for terrorist groups operating from its soil. The operation demonstrated India's resolve to take the fight to the enemy and dismantle the terror infrastructure that threatened its security. The strikes were met with widespread support within India, with citizens hailing the government's decisive action and the bravery of the armed forces. Operation Sindoor 2025 marked a significant escalation in India's counter-terrorism strategy, shifting from a posture of restraint to one of proactive and punitive action. The operation sent a clear message to Pakistan and its proxies that India would no longer tolerate cross-border terrorism and would not hesitate to use its military might to defend its interests. The strikes also served as a warning to other countries that provided safe havens to terrorists, highlighting India's determination to hold them accountable for their actions. The Indian Air Force's operation did not end with the strikes on terror camps in POK. In a meticulously planned and coordinated offensive, the IAF launched a series of surgical strikes targeting key Pakistani air bases. These strikes, aimed at crippling Pakistan's ability to retaliate and neutralize its air power, marked a significant escalation in the conflict. 11 Pakistani air bases, including Nurkan, Chaklala, Rafiki, Murid, Sukur, Sialkot, Pasrur, Chunian, Sargodha, Skardu, Bolari, and Jacobabad, were targeted in a series of lightning-fast raids that lasted for 3 days, from May 8th to May 10th. The IAF employed a combination of advanced fighter jets, including the French-built Rafale, the Russian-made Sukhoi Su-30 MKI, and the indigenously developed Tejas to carry out the strikes. The jets, equipped with state-of-the-art electronic warfare systems and long-range missiles, penetrated deep into Pakistani airspace, evading enemy radar and air defenses. The strikes inflicted significant damage on Pakistani military infrastructure, destroying aircraft, hangars, runways and fuel depots. The surgical strikes on Pakistani air bases demonstrated India's growing military prowess and its ability to project power deep inside enemy territory. The operation showcased the IAF's capabilities in precision bombing, electronic warfare and coordinated airstrikes. The strikes also highlighted India's determination to cripple Pakistan's ability to wage war and deter any future aggression. The success of the surgical strikes sent shockwaves through the Pakistani military establishment, exposing its vulnerabilities and raising serious questions about its air defense capabilities. The strikes served as a wake-up call for Pakistan, forcing it to confront the reality of India's growing military might and its resolve to defend its interests at all costs. Section 4. The Architects of Terror Neutralized Operation Sindoor 2025 was not just about dismantling infrastructure, it was about delivering justice. The strikes targeted and eliminated several high-profile terrorists, crippling the operational capabilities of organizations like Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba. Among those neutralized were 5 key figures who had orchestrated numerous attacks against India: Mudassar Qadian, Hafiz Muhammad Jamil, Muhammad Yusuf Azhar, Khalid and Muhammad Hassan Khan. Mudassar Qadian, a notorious terrorist leader, was known for his role in planning and executing suicide attacks. His elimination dealt a significant blow to the operational capabilities of his organization. Hafiz Muhammad Jamil and Muhammad Yusuf Azhar, both brothers-in-law of GEM founder Masood Azhar, played crucial roles in the group's financing and recruitment. Their deaths created a leadership vacuum within the organization. Khalid, a Layti commander, was responsible for training and infiltrating terrorists into India. His elimination disrupted the organization's network and hampered its ability to carry out attacks. Muhammad Hassan Khan, the son of GEM's operational commander in POK, was being groomed for a leadership role. His death dealt a setback to the organization's succession plans. The presence of senior Pakistani military officials, including a lieutenant general at Qadian's funeral, raised serious concerns about the level of support these terrorist organizations enjoyed from within the Pakistani establishment. The army chief and the Punjab chief minister sending wreaths for the funeral further fueled suspicions of Pakistan's complicity in harboring and supporting terrorists. Similarly, the attendance of senior Pakistani army officials at Khalid's funeral provided further evidence of the deep-rooted links between the military establishment and terrorist organizations. Section 5. Pakistan's Retaliation, a Futile Attempt. The audacity of India's surgical strikes and the scale of damage inflicted upon its military infrastructure left Pakistan reeling. The Pakistani military, caught off guard and humiliated, scrambled to retaliate. In a desperate attempt to save face and project an image of strength, Pakistan resorted to launching drone and missile strikes targeting Indian military installations. However, India's robust air defense systems, on high alert since the Pahalgam attack, successfully thwarted these attempts. Pakistan's retaliation, while intended to inflict damage and deter further Indian action, proved futile and only served to expose the limitations of its military capabilities. The Indian Air Force, having anticipated a Pakistani response, had deployed its sophisticated air defense systems, including surface-to-air missiles and anti-aircraft guns, along the border. These systems, coupled with constant radar surveillance and combat air patrols, effectively neutralized the threat posed by Pakistani drones and missiles. Despite its failure to inflict any significant damage, Pakistan's attempts at retaliation kept tensions high along the border. The Indian Army, deployed in a state of heightened readiness, responded to Pakistani provocations with measured restraint, avoiding any escalation that could spiral into a full-blown war. The Indian government, while maintaining its right to self-defense, exercised strategic restraint, choosing to expose Pakistan's aggression on the international stage rather than engaging in a tit-for-tat response. The abortive Pakistani retaliation served as a stark reminder of the volatile security situation in the region and the ever-present danger of escalation. It highlighted the need for continued vigilance and a robust defense posture to deter any future Pakistani misadventures. The incident also underscored the importance of international pressure on Pakistan to dismantle the terror infrastructure operating from its soil and to cease its support for terrorist groups. Gap 3S Section 6. The final warning. Any future act of terror will be treated as an act of war. India warns Pakistan amid escalating conflict. Following the futile attempts by Pakistan to retaliate, the Indian government issued a stern warning to its neighbor. The message was clear: any future act of terror emanating from Pakistani soil would be considered an act of war. This declaration underscored India's resolve to protect its sovereignty and the safety of its citizens at all costs. Gap 2S. In the wake of the Pahalgam attack and the subsequent military operations, India launched Operation Sindoor, a comprehensive strategy aimed at neutralizing terror networks and securing the borders. The operation, named after the sacred vermilion that symbolizes strength and protection in Indian culture, saw the mobilization of elite forces and advanced technology to dismantle terrorist infrastructure. Gap 2S. Despite the heightened tensions, India and Pakistan agreed to a ceasefire along the line of control. This fragile truce, brokered with the help of international mediators, aimed to de-escalate the situation and prevent further bloodshed. However, India's warning remained unequivocal. Any breach of peace or support for terrorism would be met with a decisive and overwhelming response. Gap 2S. As the situation evolved, the international community closely monitored developments in the region. Calls for Pakistan to dismantle its terror infrastructure grew louder, with many nations expressing solidarity with India's stance against terrorism. The ceasefire, while a temporary respite, did not diminish the vigilance of Indian forces, who remained on high alert to counter any potential threats. Gap 2S. The events following the Pahalgam attack have reshaped the security dynamics in the region, with India adopting a more assertive posture against terrorism. The warning issued to Pakistan serves as a testament to India's unwavering commitment to safeguarding its national security and combating the menace of terrorism. Gap 2S. As the world watches, the hope for lasting peace hinges on Pakistan's willingness to act decisively against terror groups operating from its territory. Until then, India's message is loud and clear: any future act of terror will be treated as an act of war.